Hello, everybody. We are talking about the original Matrix film today. My apologies if you can hear a dog barking in the background. That is not my dog. I cannot do anything about it. So, Matrix, I'm not a big fan of it. I think I kind of missed it when I was a kid. I think I was around 9 or 10 when it came out, and I watched it for the first time in college, and by then it had been so talked about and overhyped that when I watched it, I think I watched all three in one go. I don't remember for sure if I watched the third one. I know I watched the first two at least. I think I watched the third one. Is the Architect in the third one? Because I saw the one with the Architect. Anyway, it just kind of glazed over me. It's not really my thing. I'm not saying that I think it's bad. I'm not saying that other people shouldn't enjoy it. It's just not my thing. And I've watched them once, and the only reason I'm rewatching them now is because there's a new one, and I kind of want to reacquaint myself with it because I know that the new one is going to be a big pop culture event, and I want to be in on that. So, rewatching them. Um, I wrote down some notes. I'm not going to read all of them. It's kind of humorous watching it now. This big emphasis on needing to find phones in the real world. That's not a thing that happens anymore. I didn't remember any Alice in Wonderland stuff from this first one. And watching the trailers for the new one, I'm just like, why are they so heavy on the Alice in Wonderland stuff? And then rewatching this movie, I'm like, oh, that's always been there. I didn't remember that at all. So that was kind of interesting. Here's my big question, and I'm sure that there's an answer. It might be in the movie, and maybe I missed it. I rewatched a big chunk of this movie to try to figure it out. If it's not in the movie, I'm sure it exists elsewhere. Why does Morpheus think that Neo is the one? I've missed that. I don't know if it's there or if it's not, or maybe people don't think it matters, but so much of this movie is dependent on Morpheus' beliefs that Neo's the one, and then Neo has to believe himself that he's the one. But why does Morpheus believe that? That was confusing me the whole movie. I don't get it. I don't know. And so the actions that Morpheus and the others take based on his belief, it's hard for me to accept because I don't know why he believes that. So if you know, if there's an answer, please let me know. Because I don't think it's missing. I think I've missed it. I'm giving the movie the benefit of the doubt here. I've also dropped my notes. So now I have to awkwardly bend down and get them. There we go. There's one phone call where Morpheus calls Neo and he tells him this line is tapped, blah, 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 blah. And then he gives him a ton of information on what he thinks about him, what their plan is, where they're going to meet. And I'm just like, wow, he's given a lot of information away on a phone that the agents can hear. Doesn't go anywhere, though, so it doesn't matter, I guess. Something else that I found interesting while I'm watching this movie, I had the thought that nobody cares. This is a very much an overgeneralization, but nobody cares what happens outside the Matrix. And what I mean by that is that all the pop culture elements that were stolen, all the stuff that people talk about with the fight scenes and the powers and all that stuff, all of that happens in the Matrix. And I feel like I never hear people talking about things that happen outside of the Matrix. And the Matrix is where they get to do all the cool stuff. But I'm like, isn't what's supposed to be important the real world? Why do I feel like that has been left behind and forgotten? And so I wonder if maybe I would be more interested in a franchise like this if there were more focus. And maybe they do that more in the sequels and I've totally forgotten it. So maybe this has already been addressed. But yeah, just watching the movie, I was just like, I feel like I'd be more invested in the characters if I knew more about the real world and where they actually are. Because we're just in this ship going through the whole thing. We hear about Zion. I'm pretty sure we see Zion in a later movie. I don't remember seeing it in this one. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. Like the Matrix is bad, right? And people want to get out of the Matrix, but everything that people talk about is in the Matrix. Seems a little I can't think of the word. Hypocritical is not the right word, but it seems a little bit contradictory. That's the word. If all the cool stuff that the viewers care about is in the Matrix, but we want the Matrix to not be a thing because the real world is more important, but we don't care about the real world because it's not as cool. Just kind of an interesting thought. And then my last note was, why can't Neo or any of them, but especially Neo, just make new phones? If they can bend the world around, if there is no spoon, right, and they can do all this stuff, why can't they just make a phone to get out when they need to? Is it because the phone has to be called from the other side, so it has to be real within the... I don't know. My brain doesn't want to dive deep into the mechanics of the Matrix, so I'm sure somebody has answered that question. Again, I'm not saying these are problems or mistakes that the movie has made. I'm saying these are questions that I have watching it as someone that's not a fan of it. So if you know the answers to these, please let me know in the comments. But those are my thoughts. I'm going to try to keep this short. Those are my thoughts on The Matrix. Getting ready to watch the second one. Let me know what your thoughts are. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.